The streetlights flickered as Emma walked home, the crisp night air sending shivers down her spine. She had always taken this route, a quiet alley cutting through the city. It was supposed to be safe. At first it was just a feeling, the unsettling sensation of being watched, the soft echo of footsteps aligning too perfectly with hers. She would pause, pretending to check her phone, and the footsteps would stop too. Every time. Brushing off the paranoia, she picked up her pace. Maybe she was overthinking it, but deep inside something felt wrong. Days passed and the feeling didn't go away. The stranger was always there, lingering in the corner of her vision. A tall, shadowy figure, never too close but never too far. Was it a coincidence? Was she imagining things? Then one night, she saw him clearly for the first time. Reflected in the store window beside her, he stood, just a few feet behind. A man in a dark coat, his face obscured by the dim streetlight. Cold fear gripped her heart. She turned abruptly, expecting him to disappear like a ghost. But he didn't. He just stood there, watching. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The man tilted his head as if amused. "You don't remember me, do you?" Her blood ran cold. His voice, it was familiar. A memory long buried clawed its way back. A boy in her class, quiet, always watching. He had once written her letters, obsessively describing how he knew her better than anyone else. She had dismissed him, ignored him, and now he was here. "I've waited so long," he murmured, stepping closer. "I wanted you to see me." Panic surged through her veins. Heart pounding, she took a step back. "You need help," she whispered, trying to sound calm. He smiled. "I don't need help. I need you." Then in the distance, the sound of an approaching car. A moment of distraction. She ran. Through the dark alley, past empty streets, she sprinted for her life. She didn't look back, but she felt him. His presence was thick, suffocating. Finally, she reached her apartment building, fumbling with the keys, breath ragged. She slammed the door shut, locking it. Silence. She pressed her forehead against the wood, her body trembling. She was safe, for now. But deep down, she knew the truth. He was still out there, watching, waiting, and he wouldn't stop. Her mind replayed the encounter, the man's obscured face, his chilling words. "I don't need help. I need you." The familiarity in his voice gnawed at her. A sudden knock on the door jolted her from her thoughts. "Emma, it's Lisa. Are you okay?" Relief washed over her as she recognized her neighbor's voice. She opened the door just enough to see Lisa's concerned face. I think someone's following me," Emma whispered, her voice trembling. Lisa's eyes widened. "Come over to my place. We can call the police together." Emma hesitated but nodded, stepping into the hallway. As they made their way to Lisa's apartment, Emma glanced back at her door, half expecting to see the shadowy figure standing there. Inside Lisa's apartment, the warmth and light provided a stark contrast to the darkness of Emma's fears. They dialed the police, and an officer arrived promptly to take her statement. Emma recounted the events, her voice steadying with each word. The officer nodded, taking notes. "We'll increase patrols in the area. In the meantime, stay with someone you trust. And if you see him again, call us immediately." After the officer left, Lisa offered Emma the couch for the night. As Emma settled in, exhaustion tugging at her eyelids, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The safety of Lisa's apartment felt fragile, like a thin veil shielding her from the lurking danger. Days turned into weeks. Emma tried to resume her routine, but the lingering sense of unease shadowed her every step. She changed her route home, avoided secluded areas, and always checked over her shoulder. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Emma received a package with no return address. Inside was a single photograph, a candid shot of her walking to work that very morning. Her breath caught, and her hands trembled. On the back of the photo, a message read, "Always watching." The realization hit her like a cold wave. Michael wasn't just a figure from her past. He was here now, orchestrating a twisted game. Emma knew she couldn't live under the weight of constant fear. She decided to take control. With Lisa's support, Emma installed security cameras around her apartment and took self-defense classes. One night, the familiar sound of footsteps echoed behind her as she walked home. But this time, Emma was prepared. She discreetly activated the emergency app on her phone, alerting the authorities and her friends. She quickened her pace, leading him towards a well-lit park, where Lisa and a group of friends waited. As Michael stepped into the light, his expression shifted from predatory confidence to confusion. The police arrived moments later, apprehending him without incident. Emma watched as he was taken away, a mixture of relief and residual fear swirling within her. As she settled back into her routine, a nagging thought persisted. One evening, she received an anonymous message. "Did you really think it was over?" Chills ran down her spine as she realized that the true puppet master might still be out there, watching, waiting for the next move.